we're going to move on to the story getting finished because it was time for our main event for the Universal title, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns, the second encounter at WrestleMania, the rematch from last year. And we got Cody's entrance now with Brandy.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'm happy about that.
And he had the long entrance. He gave his weight belt to a small child. He hugged Michelle at ringside. The whole 9 yards. People are ready for this. Another Sgt. Pepper patriotic red, white, and blue outfit. And then Roman Reigns got a choir and an orchestra. And they announced that he's had 31 title defenses in 1,300 and whatever days. What's the math on that? Is that fucking 8 a year, 10 a year? I guess.
And they've made it work. That's the amazing part about it.
You know what? But that's the thing, I guess. Because that used to be a knock on wrestling in the territory days by the people or the newspapers or whoever that wanted to knock it. Well, these guys wrestle every night. Where do you see that in any other sport? You know, and it is true when the Southern heavyweight title was being defended 250 times a year or whatever. So Roman Reigns with 31 defenses in 4 years is like a UFC fighter or a boxer at this point. So it does kind of give it a little more credibility. And also, I bet he's laughing that he gets paid the money he does. And when you divide it and prorate it amongst the matches, it looks more impressive. Have you noticed the handheld camera on the in-ring intros is either some kind of extra high def, ultra high def, 3-dimensional high def camera with a soft focus in the background? It looks almost like a video game type of thing. Have you noticed those shots yet?
I've noticed it, yeah.
I'm wondering this is new shit since I've been in a TV truck, but some of our devoted followers out there, tell me what kind of fucking camera they're using. What is this new technology that we're seeing, this witchcraft? So the time was for the title match, and they had the face-off, and they were in no hurry, and the crowd was hot. And if you notice again, Roman Reigns never breaks. He never has a facial expression or an attitude that he should not have if the moment that he is in at that current time was actually happening. And I had high hopes for this match. I wanted to like it. And then at 2 minutes in, when Cody pulled the table out from under the ring and shoved it in the ring, I was like, oh, God damn it. And Roman stopped him and put the table back to get some, and the people booed. And I was like, yes, thank God.
But it made sense, Cody, doing that. He has to overcome the odds. It's bloodline rule. So I wasn't offended by that.
I was just hoping they wouldn't go that quick, right? I don't know where they were going, but geez, already. But then seconds later, Roman had the kendo stick, but they didn't overuse it. Cody got it away from him and used it and then dumped it out or lost it or whatever. And much of this was they had to do the over the rail into the arena where they could take a bump on an empty table in the back, but then they came back to the ring. And they built this, and more importantly, I guess they feel like they have to do those stupid things, you know, to satisfy the modern audience. We'll give them a little of this and then get back to business. But they built where Cody even had levels of comeback where he would get a flurry, but then something would happen where he'd get shut down. But then the next time that he had a flurry, it'd be more of a flurry. They built very well through the thing. You know, and again, it was about going for their finishing moves. There was a spot where Roman had nutshotted Cody after he cleared the desk off and powerbombed him through the desk, and they got to the ring and he hit the Superman punch, but only got a 2 count. But then Cody, and they would sell in between these things. Again, it wasn't like the AEW shit. But then Cody might hit the Cody cutter and get a 2 count, or a spear and get a 2 count. But then finally, they teased the moves as much as they hit them with going for the crossroads and blah, blah, blah. And then finally, Cody hits the crossroads, and Jimmy Uso comes in and super kicks him. And then they start doing the kind of thing that they do all the time with the bloodline, but at least they souped it up for WrestleMania here shortly.
No, this was great. You can't criticize this. It worked here.
That's what I'm saying. It started out, oh, there's Jimmy, oh, there's Solo, but then it gets grander. But Jimmy comes in with the super kick, and he holds Cody for the Superman punch, but music plays, and here comes Jay, and Jay and Jimmy get in a fight, and Jay spears Jimmy off the stage. And so they're neutralized. But then in the ring, the match is still going on. Roman Reigns hits the spear and gets a 2 count and a huge pop when Cody kicks out. And then Roman gets a face lock, but Cody pushes him to the floor, and Cody spears him through the barricades. There go all the big spots. And Cody rolls Roman in. And he grabs him for the crossroads and hits 2 crossroads, but then as he's going for the third, Solo is there and spikes Cody. And he puts Roman on top of Cody and turns around to walk off. 1, 2, he kicks out. And it's a pop there too, and Solo turns around like, what the fuck? So Solo gets on Cody and then tells Roman, finish him. So Roman struggles up to his feet and spears Cody. 1, 2, kick out. And Solo's bullshit, and then music plays. Here comes John Cena.
The place explodes. No one thought this was happening.
Good, now they're bringing out all the goddamn stars, right? We don't care if you thought he was here, whatever. Cena runs down, makes a comeback on Solo that, as we will recall, Solo's the one that spiked Cena and put him out of commission. And he gives Roman Reigns the attitude adjustment and then clears the Spanish announce desk off, and attitude adjusts the attitude of Solo through that. And right as that, the Rock music plays. And here comes the Rock to the ring. And now we've got the face-off with John Cena. And the crowd is going batshit. And let's face it, again, I said it was the same kind of shit when Jimmy runs in or Solo runs in. But now you've got Cena and Rock face-to-face as an unadvertised bonus. In Philadelphia, these people are going out of their minds. And Rock bottoms him and says, get the fuck out of my ring, and gets bleeped.
He's cursing like he's Shane Douglas in ECW at this point.
He's just saying fuck it just to show everybody that he can do it. And he takes his belt off like he's going to whip the shit out of Cena, and music plays. And here comes Seth to the ring with a chair.
Well, it's Shield music. That's the music from the Shield.
Ah, true. Well, I didn't recognize it.
And Seth came out there with blonde hair, dressed like he did in the Shield. But I think a lot of fans thought Moxley, though. In that moment, a lot of fans, when they heard that music, they did think that.
But thankfully, they were not that unlucky. They got Seth. But the thing is, I thought Seth would get a moment with The Rock, but Seth gets in the ring with a chair going after The Rock, and Roman from the blind side, bam, stopped him, and that was the end of Seth.
Well, no, but that was a big thing. Again,
the Shield, yes.
Well, no, but it's kind of brilliant for the long-term storytelling.
No, but I'm not talking about the second time he hit him. I'm talking about the first time he hit him.
Oh, okay.
Because when Seth was going in with the chair after The Rock, at least there could have been some kind of interaction with Rock there, but Roman just cut Seth off before he got to do anything. And Rock was still about to whip Cody. See? And that's when we got bong. And here came The Undertaker, and the lights are out. And not here came the Undertaker, but bong, he's coming. And the lights go out, and when the lights come on, he's already in the ring behind The Rock. And there's where he hits the choke slam, and then the lights go out, and when they come back on, he's gone. But now...
And he was dressed like he was, the thug Undertaker, not like the dead man.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
It worked. I'm not complaining.
Yeah, you can't expect him to actually change clothes for a WrestleMania appearance. Come on!
It worked here.
But no, it worked because that's the person they now see as The Undertaker.
Yeah.
For this audience. But anyway, now Roman and Cody are laying there in the ring. There's a chair laying there. The weight belt is laying there. And they're both going for it. But now Roman gets the chair. And he stands up, and Seth is pulling himself up to his feet. And Roman can either hit Cody or he can hit Seth.
Yeah.
And now he turns, because now is the part, I know from the Shield, that's what, and they've showed the tape, so everybody else does also, that when they broke up, there was the chair shot from behind. Well, now Roman gets to return it onto Seth. But when he does that, bam, and he levels Seth, he goes for a spear on Cody, and Cody stops him with a kick and hits 3 crossroads and the cover, 1, 2, 3, and finishes the story. And that's why I was saying earlier, I thought Seth should have been able to get in and do some kind of duck dodge thing with The Rock before he got laid out, because then he just gets up and he gets laid out again.
Before we get to the post-match, and there's a lot to talk about then, obviously you're excited because you're banging the desk nonstop.
Well, yes,
over here.
it's just a barn burner there, a Pier Sixer.
It was a good match, but it was an exceptional series of moments.
Yes.
That were incredible to see live. I wasn't there, but just on TV as it happened, it was great. The long-term booking of, and just by happenstance, not that they planned this out 10 years ago, whatever, but the idea that he got Rollins back for what he did to him. It was his chance to finally do it after all these years, and that cost him the match.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. That's such an interesting concept just to play with. I love this. I thought this was great. In the same way I love matches sometimes that aren't in-ring classics, it all worked for this here, built up incredibly, and then, of course, you get the big moment in the post-match.
Yeah, and if there'd been, again, multiple run-ins with, Joe Cephas and fucking Tits McGee, it may have been, but this is The Rock. This is John Cena. This is the goddamn Undertaker. It's WrestleMania. That worked. If the glass had broken, they would have set the stadium on fire. That's the only thing they were missing. I was thinking that in some fashion, that might be the 3 count, was Austin to come out to count the 3.
Well, I said that the other day on the show. Imagine if the glass breaks and that's who could stop The Rock. There were 3 options. It's Triple H, it's Steve Austin, and The Undertaker. And it worked. It worked. Everyone was happy that no one expected The Undertaker in the middle of this, and it worked.
Yeah. And Triple H isn't an option right now because they've got a long story down the road for that. No reason at all to get jumpy about that one. But then Brandy came to the ring. Cody held the belt up. They made the first member of the Rhodes family to win the WWE title, and they sent the top baby faces. There, Sammy and Seth and Jay and Owens, Orton, Cena. Punk was there. LA Knight. Mama Rhodes and the family. And
Brody Lee Jr.
Was he? I don't really know what the kid looks like without
-1 under the mask. Yeah, he was the kid. Remember, he was at ringside last year, and then Cody lost, and he was there this year for this.
Well, he got booked back for the return too. And that was the kind of, the old scene you'd see when Dusty would win the NWA title or even the Florida title or whatever title. All the other baby faces would come in and pick him up. It was a celebration. And then when Cody had hugged everybody and shook hands with the announcers and everything. Oh, and also he called out not only the Artful Dodger, Bruce Pritchard, but also Triple H to thank them for their part in his return to the WWE and gave them big hugs. And he and Triple H had the heartfelt moment. But then, like I said, when he shook hands, the announcers hugged the camera guy. There was Nick Khan in the front row. And they had a moment there and a nice little congratulatory deal. So Cody's the biggest star in the business now, it'll always be except for The Rock. But is The Rock really in the business or what, You
had to finish your sentence and you started correcting yourself.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even if Rock wasn't on the board of directors, I'm just convinced that personality, the magnitude of him, you cannot be a bigger star than The Rock, no matter who's calling the shots. It's just not possible.
We're not going to go too much longer just because this already is a giant size episode. We'll record the drive-thru in a few days so we can catch our breath and edit all these shows. But Cody in the press scrum afterwards, or the press conference as they call it in WWE, he said, and it's a very interesting thing, he had been wondering to himself, what's next after this? If the whole story of his whole career is the story of the chase, of completing the story of his father, and now he's done it, what's next? So this is going to be very interesting. How do they capitalize on this with Cody? Because he's no longer chasing anything. Maybe The Rock, because of the insults about his mom, pinned him night one. But again, other than the made-up title that The Rock gave himself, claiming that Muhammad Ali bestowed the title on him, what do you think's next for Cody?
Well, I mean, there's obviously going to be, depending on how that all these people interact with each other and what the plans are, because Cody and Rock is a big money match. Rock and Roman could potentially be a big money match. Why is there tension between Rock and Roman with some of the things that happened, including the miscue in the tag match? I don't even know whether we mentioned that Roman speared Rock accidentally when Seth pulled Cody out of the way at one point.
That's right. See, Seth really, again, plays into everything. He said, I'll be your shield.
Yeah.
He literally was the shield for Cody Rhodes to win the title here.
So you've got potentially
It's great
Roman
storytelling. It's really
yes. But I'm saying with these matches, you got Roman and Seth, but you got potentially Cody and Rock. You got Rock and Roman. You got Roman and Seth. You have a rematch with Roman and Cody that could go to Saudi Arabia.
Stephanie versus Gewurz.
Oh, come on now.
Heyman is the referee.
You have Orton as established as a top guy, being kind of a wild card that could be involved with Orton with Roman or with Rock, potentially. There's all these other names, Logan Paul. What the fuck is going on? We don't know how they're going to tell whatever story they're going to tell between Rock and Roman, whether they're going to stay aligned, split up, who's going to go what way, where first. But depending on that, they've got a lot of shit that they can pull out of their bag right now.
Here's another thing, and I know Triple H said that the draft is coming up, so they're going to continue to do that. It always is a big ratings night for them. Which champion is on which show?
Well,
because Cody was on Raw, and now he's the champion of the guy who was predominantly only on SmackDown, and Priest and the entire stable are on Raw until they're broken up in the draft.
Well, and again, how does it affect toward the end of this year? Because what are we, 8 months away from a lot of shit changing with them going to the Netflix thing starts in 8 months, right? In January?
It starts I believe they leave TV in October, I want to say, and they return to Netflix in January.
Yeah, but they don't leave all of TV because the other show is still, I'm so confused, but they're still going to have a show on fucking USA. Is just going to be the other show, right? What the fuck is they're going to be all over the place. And what about Gunther? Gunther lost this title, but he's been so dominant. Could he immediately be put into a situation where he is a potential challenger, and he and Cody, that could be incredible because Cody can sell his ass off. So they got plenty to do to keep busy.
Well, night one, maybe a bit underwhelming and cold, frigid. Night two, a night of happy moments for the fans, and Cody got the kind of celebration and not too many guys have gotten over the last 30 years. Sting got it at the Bash in 90. Obviously, Dusty always got it. How many videos of Manny Fernandez hugging him in the ring are there?
Manny Fernandez should have hit the ring and hugged Cody.
But a big moment, a really cool moment. I guess the big thing will be, how do they move forward with Cody now that he's completed the story? What's next? And with the bloodline, especially if Jacob Fatu's on the way, it can go a whole bunch of different ways. So a lot of interesting things coming out of WrestleMania.
And Jacob Fatu did not debut because, remember, I said you don't debut a secret weapon in a losing effort. And it'll be interesting to see whether that's an immediate follow-up on the Raw that happens tonight as we speak, the Raw after WrestleMania, or whether this is something he's going to filter in and play into something some other way. But we'll find out. And When do we finish our story? When are we done with these programs?
We're done with this program right now, unless I could check for Twitter and see if there's any
But
big news happening.
We're never really done though, because there's always another one to do.